Hi guys, welcome to Real Talk with Soph. This is episode 1. I thought I'd do a little fun introduction episode diving into this super fun opportunity. I'm really excited that you're here. I'm really excited that you are wanting to listen to me ramble on for whoever knows how long. If you know me, you know that I love to chat, and you know that I could chat to anyone about anything. Like, when you meet me, you are immediately my friend. You are immediately someone that I just will start talking and I'll probably never stop. Um, so I thought this little episode could be an introduction, a little about me, kind of diving into the ins and outs of this podcast, what I want out of it, the kind of why behind it, and whatever else that I end up rambling on about, because we know that I ramble, clearly. Um, so I thought that we could start with my little story. If you don't know me, my name is Sophie. I am a North Carolina photographer. I specialize in cinematic couple sessions, couples who are wanting to be super playful, wanting to maybe have some kind of unique concept. Even, trickling in a little bit of a vintage vibe. That's my thing. So I'm 20 years old. I've been doing photography for 5 years, so I was 15 when I started. And photography started long before that for me. Growing up, my parents, they always had a camera out. I don't know a life without a camera in it. When I think of my parents, I think of creativity and I think of cameras and I think of music and literally anything that has to do with creativity. That is them. Um my entire life, my entire family has been wrapped around some kind of creative aspect, and I think that that has really obviously shaped who I am today and why I do what I do, and why I like what I like, and just kind of everything, to that degree. Um, so growing up, they always had cameras out. They documented literally everything. Like, days in the backyard. They documented family trips. They documented just every single thing, and I think that that's so important because I really love looking back now and being able to look back on my childhood and see these really organic, candid photos of us and me and my brothers and even my parents and all of the adventures that we got to take together, because we have gone on so many adventures. And both of them are really, they just are so creative. My entire extended family is creative. There's truly no better term to describe my life than just creativity. So along with my parents, having a camera out all the time, I also grew up modeling and acting. So I really do know what it's like to be in front of the camera, how awkward it can be, how weird it can be, but also how to work it. Um, I grew up modeling, and I modeled for brands like Belk and Roses and Hanes brand. I even did some acting commercials. And I think that really helped me and shaped the path for me to know how to work, well, for one, in a professional environment, because I was, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, working with real professional adults where this is their real profession. Going into the big studio at Belk and having an entire day where I'm modeling clothes for their website, being able to connect with that photographer and understand the way he likes things to happen. I worked with the photographer at Belk a few times, actually, and I really loved him. I built a connection with him. I understood what it was going to be like when I got there, what he wanted, how he ran the show, just everything, like, to that degree. But I also got to experience modeling inside of a studio. I got to experience modeling outside, got, headshots done a couple times a year, and those had to be creative. They had to be different, or at least we wanted them to be different. Um, things that were more colorful, things that were more sporty, things that were more playful or girly or whatever. I had a lot of different experience in different aspects of um, the type of modeling that I was doing. And so I think that, that's another thing. So not only was I being photographed at home all of the time, but my life revolved around modeling. Um, And another thing, if you know me, I was a competitive dancer for about 13 years. And that's another thing for me where I really learned what I liked about storytelling. And that was the why. And that was how I fell in love with it, was being able to express these emotions and get this idea across, through movement or through colors and outfits or through emotion. And just that entire idea was something that was really important to me for my entire life along so many different like levels. And so in 2020, it was COVID, as we know, and I had decided that dance was no longer something that I wanted to continue to pursue. Um, and that was a big leap for me because I had been dancing my entire life. My entire life was planned out. I thought I was gonna dance through high school, go to college and dance, and then whatever else, possibly came from that. And so when I made the big decision that that was just something that I didn't want to do anymore, I didn't know what there was else for me, because that was all that I knew. And I grew up, I was the most, I guess you could say I was a little entrepreneur. I always had something going on. I was baking macaroons and selling them. I had a rainbow loom business for a little while, like making bank selling, rubber bracelets. I sold everything. I made other kinds of bracelets. I was always doing some kind of craft. I was a very busy child. I could not sit still. I always was finding something to entertain myself with, whether that was quite literally gluing crayons to a canvas and taking the blow dryer and melting them down to create art, or creating designs with those little like beads that you like would iron over, if you know what I'm talking about, and then they would like melt together. I made other kinds of bracelets. I baked, I painted. Not that I was very good at painting, but I painted. Um, and it just, every single thing that I love has to do with creativity and art, and just kind of like the playfulness aspect of the fact that you can do anything. You can make anything what you want it to be. Did I think that my little crayon melted paintings were good? No. I knew they sucked. I knew they were terrible. But did I love doing it anyways because it made me feel whimsical and it made me feel happy? Absolutely. So I've always been somebody who loves every aspect of creativity and art and every other thing in between. And so when I quit dance, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And I had been kind of taking pictures with my friends, since we know that my parents were super creative and they always had cameras. My dad obviously we had whatever the camera was at the moment, we had it. So at the time, he had a different camera, but his old camera was a Canon 60, and that was what I started on. It was a Canon 60, um, the 24 to 105 lens, the kit lens. That was what I started on, and I would take that out and I would go take pictures of my friends. We would get fun with locations. We would get dressed up. We would go and take pictures and do all the things. And then when I met my boyfriend Coda, that was that same year. So I was 14 and he was 15, and our anniversary is actually July 4th. So it'll be 6 years since we started dating, which is really exciting. And when we met, I was still kind of dabbling with the idea of it. And of course, I coerced him and my mom into going out and taking pictures of the two of us all the time. So from the ages from about 14 to about 16, we have hundreds of photos from a camera that I then turned around and edited, which I think is really funny. And I think is something that made me really fall in love with the idea of different locations, different outfits, different ideas. And then going home and editing them, it made me really excited. And so the next summer, so about a year later, I had started taking some pictures of some other people. I had taken some couples photos, I had taken some senior photos, I had taken just some other like anything. And I was just really obsessed with the idea of photography. And I thought to myself, well, maybe could this be something that I really wanted to do and pursue? And I did. And so throughout the years, I've really found my style. I've really found what I enjoy, the kind of sessions that I like to do. And after a few years, I really decided that couples were the thing that I really just loved. I also grew up being obsessed with the idea of love and the idea that there's so many love stories out there, and the idea of movies and how they've captured those, moments and captured those emotions. And just, I mean, we can, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can literally see like just my small little bookshelf of like my favorite books, because this cabinet is also full. Anyways, I love reading about love. I love watching movies about love. I just love love, plain and simple. Um, and it has something that has always been an interest for me. And so when I started photography, I had thought to myself, well, what is my like niche going to be? Because everybody tells you have to niche down, you have to find the thing that you want to do, and I absolutely believe that that's true. Um, but it was like, what about this makes me happy? Do I enjoy family sessions? Do I enjoy senior sessions? Do I enjoy couple sessions? Do I enjoy it all? And do I want to just do it all? And so I decided that the best thing for me was couples, being able to create that connection with another couple, being able to capture their love exactly as it is, but also capturing it from the way I view the world, the way I view things. And I think that that's what makes storytelling really important, and how every creative or every photographer is so unique because we all see the world so differently. And that was another big, reason for this podcast, because I've always been someone who is so curious about the world, so curious about life and the journey and adventure. And I'm just a curious gal, I could say. And I really wanted to start this podcast because being curious makes me so interested in how other creatives create, how they run their businesses, things that work for them that might not work for others, things that help them minimize their workflow, things that, maybe they do at a session that's different from other people, because we all do things so differently. And I truly believe that that's amazing. And that's what makes every single creative person out there unique, because no two people are the same. No two people think the same. No two people act the same. No two people have the same beliefs or the same ideals or the same way that they view the world. And I think that it's so important. And so for me, I wanted this podcast to be a space where we can sit down, we can chat. It's just two girls. We're just chatting about life. We're chatting about business. We're chatting about storytelling or editing or camera settings, or we're chatting about what you want us to chat about. Maybe we'll do Q&As. Maybe we'll do photographer horror stories. Maybe we'll do, the opportunities are endless, but I also want to leave it open-ended so it's not just for photographers. I want to be able to sit down with other people, business people, maybe hairstylists, maybe anybody, people who aren't creative, maybe just hearing about marketing or anything, literally anything under the sun, because this is just real talk. This is real conversations based on connection, about storytelling, about growth, the lessons of business, just in how we're constantly learning and we're evolving. Because I truly believe at the core of my soul that being unstoppable makes you teachable. I'm so sorry. I just totally said that backwards. Let me do a redo. Being teachable makes you unstoppable. And that is my motto. Even though I said it wrong the first time, that's my motto, because I am always itching to learn, to grow, to study my own work, to study other people's work, to understand compositions and colors and how they work together, and lighting and shadows, and reading books. I have been reading a book by Ted Forbes lately, and I think it's called The Art of Visually Speaking. And this book, I actually think, has changed my life because it touches on every single aspect of photography, from building connections with people to storytelling with composition and colors and lines and everything. And I think that being able to be willing to learn is going to be your best the best thing for you. Because if you're not willing to learn, then you're not willing to grow. And I am somebody who is always willing to grow. I'm always looking to get better, to be better, to do something better than what I've already done. And that might be a competitive standpoint in my own brain, but it's just the way that I think. And I know that other people are the same way too. And I learn a lot by listening to other people. I love other people. I love people. I love talking with people. I love building connections with people. I love hearing about their stories about how they got started or their trials and their tribulations within their business and how they overcame them to, be where they're at now. And I just truly believe that it's the most important thing we have is human connection. And I think that's why I love capturing it so much because you are truly capturing two people's human connection with one another, the way that they love each other, the way that they are with one another, their comfortability, their love, their joys, and going on adventures with them. And I think that, you know, I'm not super big into big weddings, but I also think that that's along with weddings too, because you're experiencing the biggest day of somebody's life, a day that as a little girl that they dreamed about, something that they've planned to every tiny detail. You are capturing it, and it is the only thing that they get to take home from their day. Besides the memories, it's the photos of their memories. And I just think that photos are so important. And I think that knowing your craft and knowing every single thing about your craft is more than something that you should want to do. It's something that you should wake up every day and think, how can I be better today? What can I learn today? And I think having that open mind is really important. I'm always reading. I'm always watching YouTube videos. I'm listening to podcasts. I'm truly doing everything I can to be the best photographer that I can be. And I think that it's so interesting how every photographer does things differently. And I learned so many things from my photography friends all the time that I'm like, wow, I didn't know that you did it that way. I didn't know that you could do it that way. I didn't know that, that's how you got that or whatever the thing is. And so I think building these connections and having these real honest conversations are truly important. So that was kind of you know, the reason behind wanting to start this podcast is that there is room for everybody and there's room for growth and there's room for connection. And I just want to sit down and I want to have honest conversations with people about everything because we all get up every day and we all go to work and we all live in this same world together. But we get to learn from each other. We get to, see the world differently when we speak with other people because our whole lives are built on other people. And so I just think that it's really important to have these conversations and have these connections. And I also think that, it's a way, say if you're listening to this and I'm talking to a girl and you love her and you're like, oh my gosh, I should go check out her work. That's another way to build community because you're like, oh, I love what they had to say. And now I want to see what they say and how they've turned that into their own work and how they've implemented all of that. And so I really think that this is, more so a community over a podcast, and just a way to be entertained because I don't stop talking. And if you get with me and you don't stop talking, we just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. And I also think that's fun. And I love podcasts. I love listening to podcasts. I clearly just love the word talking in general because obviously. So, um, but yeah, if there's anything that you guys want me to specifically touch on, anything questions you want to ask, people you want on, if you want to be on, let me know. I'm happy to really dive into everything. I think this is going to be super fun. I think this is going to be a really exciting opportunity. I'm really excited to be brave because sitting in an office by yourself is scary. Talking to yourself, talking to a camera is not easy. And it's easier when you have other people to talk to, but that's also not easy for everybody either. And so I really think that I'm the kind of person that if I don't do something, if I want to do something, I'm not going to do it unless I just dive headfirst in. So this is me diving headfirst in. And I'm really just for anybody who's listening, I'm so grateful that you're here. I'm so grateful that you want to be here, that you want to listen to me, that you're interested in what I have to say. Because I don't think I'm that interesting. I mean, I guess maybe there's things that are interesting that maybe I do or the way I approach things. But overall, like, the fact that anybody wants to listen to me chat for 20, 30, 40, 50 minutes is fascinating to me. Um, so I'm just really excited. I'm really glad that you guys are here. I'm really stoked for this opportunity and the amount of people who said that they wanted this. So thank you guys for listening to me ramble for 20 minutes without, a real conversation with somebody else. So yeah, I can't wait for the next episode. I am so excited. I already have my first guest. I'm not going to say who because I'm too excited and I want to be a surprise. So, you guys are going to love that episode. I'm genuinely so excited for that. Like, that's not, I can't contain myself. And, working on getting other people on and talking about just everything under the sun because this is a place to have real conversations. And maybe it's not even conversations about creativity. Maybe it's conversations just about life, about what it's like on the, backside of being a business owner. How sometimes being a business owner can make you lonely or it can make you obsessed over, being on the internet and the downsides of social media and social expectation and just everything. I think that this is such a way for, maybe other people to listen and be like, wow, I feel that way too. And know that maybe you're not as alone as you might feel like you are sometimes. Because I think as creatives, when we live a lot of our life on the internet or we're on there having to show up all of the time, sometimes that connection is also lost with other people and thinking, wow, I wonder if other people are struggling with the idea of social media too. And when you know that somebody else is, maybe it doesn't make you feel as alone about it or make you feel as sad about it or make you feel whatever the emotion is. I think that there's so many sides of owning a business and so many highest of the highs, but there's also some really low lows. And I think that being honest and open about it is all we can do to, maybe guide new people who are starting out to tell them like this is what you're going to experience. But at the same time, it's the best experience because you get to have this business built on human connection. So I'm going to stop rambling now. I'm so grateful that you guys are here. I'm so excited to start this journey. And yeah, so this is Real Talk with Soph. Thank you guys for watching and tune in and follow me on Instagram at Real Talk with Soph. And my photography Instagram is sophiemorris.photo. To hear when I'm going to drop my next podcast episode. I'm so excited. And I can't wait for you guys to be along this journey with me. So thank you guys. Bye.